Hello, Rebels. Garrett Robinson here, independent author of the Realm Keeper series, the upcoming novel Rebel Yell, Touch Trilogy, non-zombie. Sorry, I forgot to set my phone, as always. If you watch this show often, you will be used to this by now. Yeah, independent author of a lot of books, and this is my show, VlogaNovel. Welcome. On this show, I live create a book from the outlining, everything from the outlining process, writing the first draft, editing, to formatting and publishing it on all platforms. So welcome. We are beginning work on Nightblade episode 3. And if you think that I'm talking a little extra quietly tonight, you're right. My cousin is in town and she's staying with us, and she's actually in the next room. So I'm going to be very, very quiet. I'm going to be just whispering into your ear. So we are beginning with the outlining of Nightblade episode 3 tonight. Few things to know. You can pre-order this book if you look in the blue section of the screen right below my face. You will see the link there. Pre-order this book now at garrettbrobinson.com/nb-3. It is only $1.99 to pre-order, and on that page you will find a link to pre-order it directly from me, which is very helpful to me as an independent author. And other things, you can always find the latest episode of VlogaNovel on my website, garrettbrobinson.com. They always get posted there as blog posts whenever I begin a show. And this episode will be live posted to Wattpad as I actually start writing it. I will not be posting the outline to Wattpad because that's not what people go to Wattpad for. But there you go. But the first draft is posted to Wattpad, and then I post edits as I edit them and everything, and so you can go read it there on Wattpad for free as I created, so that you can see the end result of the creation process. However, if you are going to enjoy it during the creation process for free, it would obviously mean a lot to me if you would actually buy it, because as an independent author, that's how I eat, and my family eats. You probably don't care whether I eat, but I have children. I have children. Yeah, with those announcements out of the way, a couple other things. Big thank you to everybody. Nightblade episode 1 became perma-free day before yesterday, and I asked a lot of people to report it to Amazon as free, and a lot of people did, and it became perma-free very quickly, like within a week of publication, just over a week of publication. But very, very awesome, very, very fat, big deal. Thank you so much. And a lot of people have been downloading it. It's been getting some really good reviews recently. It's up to 4 reviews on the American store, 2 reviews in Canada, I think 1 review in the UK, and everything. They're all 5-star reviews and 1 4-star review, which is like, whatever. But yeah, so thank you very much if you helped me report it and everything, because the way that the series works is everybody gets to try the first book for free, and you can get the second book for free just by reviewing the first book. If you review episode 1, I send you episode 2 for free, which is cool, and hopefully that'll get a lot of reviews for the first one, because that's what pulls people in, and I want people to be able to read the first book and say, I will like this or I won't like this, before they decide to read the rest of it. But to be able to do that for free, so that there's no, you don't have to shell out and then find out, oh, you hate the book and blah 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 blah. So thank you very much for helping me set that up. That is a huge help to me as an independent author. I feel like there was another announcement, but I'll either remember it once we get going or I won't. So let's crack open the book and start outlining. Okay, so if you'll remember, at the end of episode 2, Lauren was trapped in a compartment in a merchant caravan, and she was hiding there from a constable and some riders who had shown up, and then the merchant who owned the caravan, her name is Damaris, she ended the episode by saying, "Oh, she's over in this caravan. Come, I'll take you to her." And I asked you guys to vote on 2 possible ways to begin episode 3. The first way was to have basically Damaris kill all of the constables, and thus prove herself to be kind of a murderous psychopath, or at least a very, very ruthless individual. So that was, and then Lauren, of course, not being interested in killing people, would have to basically find a way to escape the caravan while staying safe herself. Um, and then option two was that Lauren would take Damaris's daughter Annis hostage and escape that way. But you guys voted for option one. Not that many people voted, but there were three people who thought option one sounded really cool, and one person who really liked option two, and one person who thought option two was cool, but would also have been okay with option one. So we're gonna just go with option one. Um, uh, as always, I like to. I don't know why I do this, but I always like to just sort of sort out my front matter and back matter before I actually start working. So let's just do that real quick. Front matter, episode 3. And back matter. Hmm. Yeah, and that's really all we need to change. I guess it's worth talking about. If you are an independent author, you no doubt have heard the name David Gaughran. He is a successful self-published author. He also runs a very, very big and successful self-publishing website called letsgetdigital.com. I just always search for David. Actually, I subscribe to his uh, website, so I don't search for anything. But he had a fantastic one. The most important thing any author can have is an email list. You, again, if you're a self-published author, you know this. It can be difficult to grow your email list, and I had tremendous success growing my email list by including more options to sign up across my site, like just in any form that people fill out, just including a checkbox. Hey, do you want to sign up for my email list? Very successful. But David Gaughran recently posted an article about a guy who has been very successful growing his email list. And so I'm going to be tweaking my email list sign up production line, whatever you want to call it, my CTAs, where I put my links for people to go sign up, all of these different things. So if you want to stay tuned for that, that is probably going to happen within the course of this episode. But one major thing that I kind of realized that won't be happening in this episode because it's not going to be ready yet. But currently, if you sign up for my email list, I'll give you one of my books for free, one of my books from my catalog. What I'm going to change that to is if you sign up for my catalog, if you sign up for my email list, I will give you a book for free, but a specific named book. And I need to figure out what that book is going to be. I want to say Rebel Yell, because it's my Rebel Alerts. You guys are my Rebels. Except that I don't know that Rebel Yell will necessarily appeal to the majority of my reader base. Like, my rebels are my readers, but all of my readers are not necessarily rebels. There's something very specific about being a rebel. It's the sort of entrepreneurial, devil may care. It's people who like shaking things up and like doing things. I have always wanted to foster an active community who will get together and do stuff, not just a bunch of people who like reading my books. That's cool if you like reading my books, and you know, absolutely. But like being a rebel is like a very specific thing. But for my email list, I want I want to attract readers. Um, so I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is once Nightblade episode 1 is done, and once Nightblade, sorry, try that again. Once Nightblade Volume 1 is done, that's the first 8 episodes. That's going to be compiled as a single thing. Once that's done, and once I'm well into Volume 2, I'm going to invite people to join the email list and say, and if you join, you get Nightblade Volume 1, because it's a nice cover. It's got the best feedback from any of my covers so far. The guys on SPP loved it. Most of you guys who I've asked have said that you love it. Um, it's a specific name. It's the beginning of a story. You can tell that right away. And if you, I plan on getting a lot of new readers from the now permanently free Nightblade episode 1. And if at the back of that, it's like, hey, you know, sign up for my emails and you get the first 8 episodes for free. That's cool. And for people who find me through Realm Keepers, sign up for my email list and you get the beginning of a whole nother fantasy series that I'm writing. People can get that. They understand that so much better, as opposed to just like, pick any one of my books for free and they're like, I don't know what the rest of your books are and don't really care. And it's a simplified message. For people who just like buy Nightblade Volume 1 and then they get the opportunity to sign up for the email list. Hopefully the draw would be that, 1, they like me, 2, they want to get my books, and 3, I do all kinds of giveaways. Like, for example, this week I did a giveaway of paperbacks from my first book ever, Touch Trilogy, and those are autographed and everything like that. So it's like, I think that if people buy Nightblade Volume 1, great, and I hope that they still, I think that they still will want to sign up for the email list, but I want to catch people on episode 1. It's like, did you like episode 1? How about you go read how about you get episodes 1 through 8 for free? That is a very simple message that almost anybody will think is valuable, et cetera, et cetera. So there you go. That's one thing that's going to be changing very shortly. And since I was doing back matter, that's what made me think of that. Okay, so front matter and back matter is done. Let's get into it. Outlining. Seasonal arc. This is changing again. Okay. So let's rewrite the episode 2 paragraph to reflect what actually happened. Okay, so episode 2 changed significantly from what it was when we last did this outlining process. Episode 2, Lauren travels along the road alone, unable to go home because of her father. The constables nearly find her out in the wilderness. When they're close to catching her, she spots a caravan and hides in it without anyone seeing. When the constables leave, Annis, the merchant's daughter, becomes interested in her. The girl's mother, Damaris, knows the constables were after Lauren, but since they're both criminals, Damaris sort of takes Lauren in. Annis grows so entranced with Lauren that she determines to run away from Damaris, but Damaris seems pretty cool, and Lauren would feel bad. Excuse me. More constables arrive, sent by the first two, and Damaris tells Lauren to hide in the caravan. Then Lauren hears Damaris point her hiding place out and take the constables right to her. Okay, so that's a pretty significant change. Now, the rest of the season, I thinking about Nightblade a lot these days. I can't imagine why. I'm sure you don't understand that, but so I've been thinking about Nightblade a lot the entire first season, and what I realized is that a lot of random stuff happens, and not everything is well linked up. In brief, in the rest of the season, she was supposed to go to Cabris. She meets a young pickpocket named Jem, who takes her to the leader of a pickpocket ring named Mother, who is a weremage. Then she has a little scuffle with Mother, and then escapes and finds Zane again, and then she's traveling with him. Mystics, an order of knights, find Zane and chase him. Zane flees. Lauren chases him. Then Lauren and Jem are caught by the Mystics. Lauren essentially escapes from the Mystics because she thinks that they're bad people. Goes after. Then she and Jem start heading for the next city. So they decide to. They get into some random adventures. They find Zane again. There's a fight at the city. Blah 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 blah. Kind of all this all this stuff happens. But we have open loops from episode 1, and that should be being addressed throughout the whole season and sort of resolved by the end of the first season, the first volume. And we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. You are not doing that because you're reading the series and hopefully enjoying it. Let me know if you are. By the way, if you're watching this on the YouTube page, you can leave comments and I can answer them live on the air. So I need to build in more progressive storytelling, more things that relate to things that we've already, more characters achieving goals, going after goals, this kind of thing. Because I don't have enough of that, and that's what makes a story interesting. It's what turns a story from a procedural cop drama to an epic master example of storytelling that spans seasons and episodes and keeps you really, really interested. That's what all of my favorite shows do, so why wouldn't I do that in my own series? So what I have proposed in extremely broad strokes is that the big open loops are, what is the dagger, and Lauren wants to become a thief. So we already know that the dagger is going to play a part when she meets Corin and Byrne again, because Corin is going to recognize the dagger and let her go because of it. We're not going to find out the exact answers about the dagger, but it is going to continue to be a mysterious object through the first volume. What I want to have happen by the end of the volume is that Lauren is going to lose the dagger. Not lose, it's going to be taken from her, and she is going to have to work out how to steal it back. That is going to be sort of the climax of volume 1. Not climax, but the achievement of the first leg of her journey is that she thieved something. She did a thiefy thing. And that's cool. And I need to figure out who she's going to steal it from. It feels appropriate to have it be the constables because they're sort of the first bad guys that showed up in the first episode. It would also feel appropriate to have it be Damaris because she is now turning out to be not a bad person, but a complicated character who Lauren doesn't want to have anything to do with. And who, spoiler alert, is probably going to turn out to be a more and more bad character throughout the course of the series. And there will be others. Damaris is not big game, but neither is Lauren, and that's why Damaris is a perfect enemy for her right now. Enemy is the wrong word, but you get what I mean. So we need to go back through the rest of season one, volume one, and build in these storytelling elements. It's been a really tiring week, y'all. How's everybody out there doing? Can't tell if you're commenting and Google's just sucking or no comments. What's wrong with y'all? Feel free to chime in. Comments on the YouTube video will show up on my live feed and I can answer them on the air. Hey, somebody is there. Wade chimed in. Hey, Garrett, just happened to open YouTube. I'm impressed you can think this late at night. My mind turns to mush. Ha ha. If you can call it thinking. Seriously, I am quite exhausted. It has not been a good week in terms of my physical body. And I am only going to do the 1 hour, another half hour left, and then I am going to bed because I can't do another week like I had this week. And since it's already Sunday evening, I'm going to have an escalated timetable. In other words, I have to finish outlining by tomorrow and get the first draft done so that I can edit, get the first draft done Tuesday so that I can edit Wednesday so that I can publish Thursday. Yeah, that's the timeline that needs to happen so that I can publish and record. Oh, tomorrow I'm going to record the audiobook for episode 2, which I didn't do last week because I ran out of time and I need to do that. I just can't do it now because my cousin is asleep in the next room and I have to be super quiet. What am I doing? Uh, every time I pop over to refresh the comments, they show up on the live feed. Wade said, "You're on Buddy's show tomorrow, correct?" That is correct, by the way. I'm going to be on Buddy's writing show tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Buddy Gott, good friend of mine, fellow independent writer, and fantastic guy. Just one of the best people you could hope to meet. And so he's going to be interviewing me about VlogaNovel and Nightblade. Pretty excited about that. I've been on his show once before talking about Realm Keepers. It was a long time ago. I don't remember, but definitely tune in for that. Look him up, Buddy Gott, Gott. He's on Google Plus and YouTube. If you look up Buddy's writing show, you should definitely be able to find him. He's like I said, fantastic guy. Quotidian Light chimed in, said, "I'm having a rough week as well. My writing is sitting till morning. Nothing like getting into the head of a 9-year-old psychopath first thing in the morning." Yes, I had a similar experience with Hit Girls, 14-year-old serial killer. Crowshaven chimed in. He said, "Hi. Short, sweet, to the point. I like it. Hi, Crowhaven." Okay, so here is the proposed revised outline for episode 3, I apologize. And I've broken it up into a paragraph for each chapter. So, first, Lauren expects to be found at any moment. This is her hiding in the caravan. She throws up the wooden panel and slips out, preparing to run away. Before she can, she hears a cry of alarm from a couple of wagons over. Damaris screams how Lauren's escaped. Basically, Damaris is like, "Oh, she's over in this wagon," and Lauren thinks she's actually going to take them to the wagon that she's in. But instead, she takes them to another wagon, and when she opens up the compartment and it's empty, she goes, "Oh, she's escaped! Gregor, find her, find her!" And so the constables freak out, and they start searching the whole caravan line. But while doing that, the constables split up, giving Gregor and his men the opportunity to kill them. So this gives Lauren just enough pause to climb back into her hiding space. The constables' riders split up to find her, and when they're spread out, Gregor and his men strike, killing all of them in seconds. Chapter 2, Lauren is shocked and appalled. The constable was only doing his job and anyway wouldn't have killed Lauren. Damaris turns cold, revealing this isn't the first time she's done this. Lauren knows it has something to do with the brown cloth packages in the caravan, but doesn't know what they are. Gregor and his men dispose of the bodies in the woods, and Damaris makes Lauren help, so she'll know how to do this in the future. I like the idea of Damaris trying to be like a dark mentor to Lauren, like seeing a young, aspiring criminal woman and feeling some sort of kinship toward her because that's the way she was when she was younger, and being like, "I'm going to teach you how to kill people when they're not looking and dispose of bodies." And Lauren is like, "Whoa, whoa, let's all just stop with the killing." So I like that Damaris thinks that Lauren would actually want that. It puts an interesting dynamic into their relationship. Lots of emails. Are you guys commenting like crazy or what's happening? Um, so, and then Lauren vows never to be involved in murder again. You know, little moment of personal decision for the episode. So then, chapter 3, couple days of travel. Lauren looks for an opportunity to escape, but Gregor watches her all the time. Lauren tries to figure out what the end game is. Uh, of them taking her along. And she distrusts Annis completely. The girl seems too happy-go-lucky about the whole thing. But one time when she goes to take a piss, Annis goes with her and has a quick whispered conversation. She thinks Damaris is keeping Lauren around as a distraction. At the gates of Cabra, she'll turn Lauren over for real so no one will search the caravan. Annis wants to help Lauren escape if Lauren will take Annis with her. This time Lauren agrees. So in other words, Annis, after this whole killing thing happens, is all like, yeah, see, yeah, all that stuff. Oh, don't make such a big deal out of it, but it's all fake. So, um, she has a private conversation with Lauren and says, this is why I want to get away. And what they're going to do is they're going to get to the city walls, and it will be suspicious if they show up and the constables are all gone. So what they're going to do is they're going to show up and they're going to give you to the constables so that their caravan won't be searched. And if they need to, if they can't figure out a way to sneak in. So Annis is like, I'll help you escape if you'll take me with you. And this time Lauren is like, okay, you're obviously a lot smarter than I thought you were, so let's do this. So then chapter 4, more traveling. You get to have some conversation with Lauren and Damaris is like, hey, I've got a daughter, I've got a family, I need to provide for them, and I have to be ruthless. Sometimes I have to kill them. And I really like this idea that even royalty falls, but merchants are forever, but only if they will spill blood for what is theirs. And that, I find a lot of truth from that in our own world. You know, um, Governments rise and fall, but it seems like the same organizations, sometimes the same families who have been rich forever will stay rich forever. They'll last. They'll outlast governments. They'll fund new governments. I mean, certain really rich families, whether you believe all the conspiracy theory stuff or not about like them being involved in the Illuminati and all that shit, the Rothschilds, is it the Rothschilds? No, but a couple of those big, like, rich families were around and very rich before America. If America ever does collapse as a country and as a going concern, the families will probably still be around. They were around before, modern nations were a thing, and et cetera, et cetera. And just sort of bringing that out in a fantasy setting where it's like, no, we're the we're the people with the money, and we will stick around forever, but only if we'll get dirty doing it. Um, Lots of comments. Crowshaven said a short can be really powerful sometimes. Yes, it can. And then Wade said, do you typically outline in this fashion? That is a summary. Yes. Um, and I take the summary and I expand upon it and expand, 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 and then pretty soon I've got a book. Okay, and then the final chapter, they reach Cabris. Damaris acts like Lauren will be fine, telling her to hide. Lauren spots the constables from episode 1 at the city gate. Gregor appears, not good, he's going to turn her over. That's when Annis strikes under Lauren's instruction. She throws one of the brown cloth packages at the constable's feet, and out falls a bunch of dark purple crystals. Constables freak, and a skirmish erupts with Gregor and Damaris's men. Lauren seizes the opportunity to cut a horse free from a wagon. She leaps up and pulls Annis up in front of her. Though the girl is smaller, she knows how to ride. Lauren wraps arms around her and they flee. Damaris screams in anger behind them. They get to an alternate gate in Cabris's walls, but as soon as they enter the city, Corin and Byrne appear from nowhere, taking both girls into custody. So they reach the city. Damaris makes ready to hand Lauren over. But then basically Annis has been, Lauren has given Annis instructions because Lauren couldn't get one of the brown cloth packages. There's just no way. She's being watched too heavily and everything. But Annis, nobody watches Annis all the time because Annis is Damaris's daughter. So she throws one of the packages and these dark purple crystals come out. I'm thinking that the dark purple crystals will be basically kind of like the poison necklace from Game of Thrones, except like much more. They'll be like something very, very heavily forbidden by the king. or maybe there'll be like a drug that will like enhance magical powers or something like that. But that's something that we can figure out next episode or later episodes. I mean, it's not necessary to figure it all out right now. Um, but uh, so anyway, but once Annis reveals that she's got that, um, all hell breaks loose because as soon as the constables see that, they're like, Lauren kind of ceases to become important. It's like if the cops stopped a van in Texas thinking, oh, I think I'm going to find a couple of, illegal immigrants in there. Let's get those, right. And they open up the back of the truck and it's just like pallets and pallets of cocaine and a couple of illegal immigrants sitting among the pallets. So the cops are not going to pay any attention to the illegal immigrants. They're going to be paying attention to the pallets and pallets of cocaine. So it's kind of that scenario. And so they start fighting with Gregor and his men and everything. And Lauren and Annis flee together. But then when they do get into the city, Corin and Byrne noticed her leave, and they're after her because they're after Zane. So they take the girls into custody, and that is a good. I'm okay with that end of the episode. Yeah. So that's looking good for episode 3 right now. And then episode 4 becomes this. The old outline for episode 3 works pretty well as episode 4. Jesse Jameson chimed in and said, I like this subtle whisper voice, ghostly. I don't know if you're listening from the beginning, Jesse, but I have a relative visiting who is asleep in the next room, so I have to be all quiet-like. I'm going to change Mother's name to Auntie, because Mother could just be way too confusing, and Auntie is less likely to be, lots of people will be calling, the word mother is too ubiquitous. Lots of people will say mother, and it just gets confusing. But if she calls herself Auntie, then that's sort of different. Crowshaven chimed in and said, I have not read episode 1 or 2 yet, so just wondering, throughout the story, while Lauren tries to be a thief and falls flat on her face, would it sort of be like how she subconsciously is gaining the skills to achieve her goal? Yeah, exactly. Like, she thinks that it's all about being flashy and thingy and doing the thing and whatever. And, like, by the end of episode 1, she'll realize that it's more about um, basically just kind of distracting, and somebody's going to have her dagger, and she's going to think of a clever way, not a glorious way, and not a particularly, not the kind of way that you'd sing songs or tell stories about, but she's going to steal her dagger back. And it's going to be that necessity that's going to make her think of, okay, how am I going to get it back realistically without being all crazy thief from some old story? Like, how am I actually going to do this? And she thinks of something that's like too stupid to work, but it totally works. Um, and and that's the beginning of her figuring out how to do whatever. Jesse Jameson said again, I wonder if Garrett's a pothead. I am envisioning a bag hidden on the bookshelf, and how much change must be in that couch. Definitely am not. 3 kids, not a good time to start smoking pot. Wade chimed in, said, from the minimal amount I've watched, I love the think aloud, getting inside the mind of a writer is valuable. Well, I think it depends on the writer. Um, and then Crow's Haven chimed in and said, that is really freaking cool. If you're talking about Lauren's new evolution, yeah, see, that's what I wanted to achieve, is that when I thought about Volume 1, there was nothing particularly exciting about it, but if in episode 5 her dagger is stolen and the rest of the book becomes about how her getting the dagger, it's not Harry Potter where, like, she has to find a way into the Chamber of Secrets. That's cool and sexy and whatever. And I think that this is just more real. Like, it's a small thing. It's a small step on the road to her becoming something much more and much greater than she was. There's a parallel to a property that I just can't freaking remember right now. I mean, there's parallels to, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the show, not the piece of shit movie, but, like, season 1 is about him trying to learn how to waterbend, and survive. Now that's still pretty cool and pretty flashy, But then season 3, he's trying to learn how to become the Avatar and trying to actually actively save the world. And there's big epic battles and da 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 da. And he goes so far from just a little dude trying not to be caught by Zuko, to this gigantic, all-powerful being who's responsible for restoring balance to all bending in the world. I like that. I like that slow burn. It's like it's like Breaking Bad. At first, he's trying to make like one perfect batch of meth, and then by the end, he's like multi cop chases across states, and he's all king shit and everything. But if you go back and you watch the first season of Breaking Bad, everything's so small and so tiny and so seemingly insignificant. And then it just ends with his first big victory, his first step down a very dark road. And Lauren's is going to be the first step down a very ambiguous road. I mean, let's not forget, she is trying to become a career criminal with good intentions. It's very odd. I don't know why I thought of this. Jesse chimed in again, said, Garrett, if this becomes really popular, could you see it or any work going on forever, or at least for, let's say, years? Yeah, I'd like to. I'd really like to keep this series going for a long time. The epic fantasy series that I have been planning for years and years and was originally going to try to produce as an independent web series, is now going to be 4 novels. And it's okay, so it's going to be, I mean, bad comparison. Um, it's going to be like Lord of the Rings. But the Lord of the Rings has the Silmarillion couching it. Now, Nightblade isn't going to be the Silmarillion, but Nightblade starts where we are right now, and the story starts years before the epic fantasy series, and is going to tell the story of how the world copes with the aftermath of the epic fantasy series. So in that way, it's like the Silmarillion. It's just that Nightblade, Lauren, doesn't matter in the course of the big events that are going to shatter the world and break everything apart and everything like that. This is like the story of Lord of the Rings as told by Éomer, and beginning 5 years before Frodo leaves the Shire and ending 10 years after the fall of Sauron. So it's Éomer, and he's doing stuff. He's becoming a great knight and a leader of his people. And then all of a sudden he meets Aragorn, and they fight some battles together. And he participates in a couple major battles with Aragorn. And then afterwards he goes home and he restores peace to Rohan and becomes king and has to, rebuild his nation and has his own trials and tribulations and everything. So this would be like that. This would be the story from a side character's perspective, somebody who is there for the major events that change the world, but is not key or integral in them in any way. Um, because I think that would just be an interesting thing. It's kind of like the Ender's Shadow series of books, where you have Bean, Ender's smartest soldier, and you follow his story from way before he met Ender to many many years after Ender flies off into the stars and leaves Earth behind. You're still following Bean. That's probably a better analogy. Crowshaven chimed in and said, so it's basically her going through character development and growing up in a way. Yes, exactly. Um, one of the categories that I placed the book in was coming of age because she's going to learn how to be a person. So that is a one paragraph outline of episode 4, and I'm gonna wrap it up there. I've got a minute left, but I don't want to start a whole new episode outline that I'm not going to be able to finish. So that's it for this episode of VlogaNovel. I'm going to bed because I'm exhausted. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Crowshaven, Jesse Jameson, and Wade Finnegan for your live comments. Always, and Quotidian Light. Always fantastic to have people to hang out with while I'm doing this in the middle of the night. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I record the audiobook for Nightblade episode 2. Finish outlining Nightblade episode 3, and will not begin on the first draft tomorrow because I already have too much stuff to do, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it all. I have too much stuff to do, guys. I just want to retire on a beach in the Bahamas and write all day for you, and it's not happening for a while. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, you can pre-order this book, the blue section of the screen below my face, garrettbrobinson.com/nb-3. If you do that, it is extremely helpful to me as an independent author. By pre-ordering it directly, I get compared to Amazon, a gigantic percentage of the sale. So that is important to me. And of course, if you haven't read episodes 1 or 2, you can get them both for free. Episode 1 is permanently free always. And if you read episode 1 and you review episode 1, and in the back of the book there's a link, I will send you episode 2 for free. So go give it a shot at least. Like, I'm not going to say that the book is good or bad, but I will say that it is worth a shot. It is worth a couple minutes of your time to go download it and pop it open and say, meh, meh. It's worth that. It's worth that. Meh. Um, so there you go. Go check it out. Episode 1 is there. You can then get episode 2 for free by reviewing it. And if you like both of those, please do please do pre-order episode 3 from me. That would be fantastic. That's it for VlogaNovel, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.